everyone, welcome back to another session of specification, how to write specification of different item of works. So students, just in the previous session we have started learning about how to write specification for different item of works, in which we have started describing the theories that how in the contract document these specifications are written, or when you are writing the specification as in post of engineer, what things or what criteria you have to follow. We have discovered the major three theories, that was of earthwork in excavation, second was reinforced cement concrete, and we have seen the plain cement concrete. So today in this session we are going to see the detailed specification for first class brickwork in cement mortar ratio 1:6, and second detailed specification for plastering work. So today we are going to discover the major two components. So starting our theory with the detailed specification of brickwork in superstructure or first class brickwork in cement mortar ratio 1:6. So in the specification, as we already know, that we have to start with the materials. So material for the brickwork are brick, cement, sand and water. So starting with the brick, the bricks which you are using for the construction shall be of standard size of 19 cm cross 9 cm cross 9 cm. They should be in regular shape and size and having sharp edges. They should emit a clear ringing sound on being struck. They should have proper red color, and the bricks should be free from cracks, chips, efflorescences, flaws and lumps of any kind. The dry brick shall not observe the 20% of the water by its weight when soaked in the water, and the bricks should not get broken while they are dropped from the 1 meter height up to the ground. So these are the kind of specification which we used for the bricks. The next material is cement. Cement, which we have already discussed in the reinforced cement concrete, that cement should be conforming 269. It could be Portland cement, blast furnace slag cement, rapid hardening cement, and the general OPC cement should have compressive strength of 17.5 Newton per mm square. So that is about cement. The next is fine aggregate. So the fine aggregate shall be conforming IS 383. They should be clean, sharp and hard angular grains passing through the ISC 4.75 mm. Also, it should be free from dirt, dust, other vegetables and organic matters. C. Sand shall not be used. Instead of river and pit sand shall be used. So that is about cement and sand. And the last material is water. So water shall be reasonably clean and free from the injurious impurities like alkalis, acids, oil, vegetable growth and other organic matters. Generally potable water is being used for the construction. So that was about the materials for the specification of the brickwork. Moving forward, the next is mortar. The brickwork shall be done with the mortar specified by mixing the ingredient as per the cement mortar ratio given in the specification. Here in our case the ratio is given as 1:6. So the 1 part of cement and the 6 part of sand. In the case of cement, the unit of measurement shall be number of bags, and that could be counted by the use of 0.035 cubic meter, that is 1 bag of volume. So 50 kg of volume is equals to 0.035. So if you have the quantity of the brickwork, you can convert it into number of bags of the cement required. And sand in specified measurement shall be mixed in the box of 35 cm cross 25 cm cross 40 cm. And this sand shall be measured on the dry volume. Students, you might be thinking that either this mortar is being prepared on the floor or this kind of box is very rarely used. On the site it is, in the field, on the site it is known as the gunfoot or the gunfoot box. So whenever the brickwork stage is going to be started on your site, your brickwork machine will ask the formwork machine to prepare a gunfoot. That is how they will prepare in that box. That is how they will get the exact the volume of the sand required against of the cement. The materials are first being mixed in the dry state until they form they gets a uniform color, and once they gets a uniform color, gradually and slowly the required amount of water is being added to the dry mix until they get a workable plastic mix. Now this mortar which you have prepared for the brickwork shall be compulsorily used within the 30 minutes of the preparation, because as you know, your cement settling time, initial setting time, so you can't do that you prepare the mortar in early morning and you use it in the afternoon. That is completely waste of material, waste of time, waste of labor, as well as you are not going to gain the strength. You can't have like that, I'll prepare the mortar in the morning, then I'll re-add the water while I'm going to use. That will not give you the strength. So whenever you make a mortar or whenever you are watching, you are supervising the labor, you must take care of this, that your mortar is being used as early as possible after it's being prepared. I hope we are clear up to this point. Moving forward, soaking of bricks. So all the bricks which you are going to use in construction, they are to be soaked in the water for almost 12 hours before they are going to be used. So that is how the brick will absorb the water. Why this is needed? Think for a moment. Why we need to soak the bricks into the water? Because if it is not done, the brick is going to absorb the water from the mortar, and if the if the water is absorbed from the mortar is going to be weak. Either they fall from the wall as well. So for that, the bricks are absorbed into bricks are soaked into the water before they are used for the construction. Moving forward, the next is laying of bricks. All the brickwork should be done in the English bond unless and until it is specified in other way. Also, the every layer of the brick which the labor is placing, that should be truly horizontal and in plumb. Now what is plumb? Plumb is the vertical situation. For example, if this is my brick, then this should not be tilted. It should be in the perfect vertical plumb, and it should every layer of the wall brick should be one on another. Also, the vertical joints, the joints between two brick, in every layer, this joint should not come over one to each other. They should be placed at intermediate. So, for an example, if this is the joint between two bricks, now below that layer there should be no other joint. Why? Because if all the joints are in the same layer or the same level, then if the load is coming from that point, the brickwork is your brick wall is going to be failed. So I hope we are clear about that. The bricks shall be laid with the frogs in upward direction, except only in the top layer where the frogs are going to be in the downward direction, because at the top layer you want a smooth finish, so the frog should be downward. But in other layers of the brickwork, the frog should be at the upward, and the mortar thickness should be minimum of 6 mm, and joints should be fully filled with that mortar. Again, broken or bad quality of bricks shall not be used. Only the bricks which are fine in strength or fine in finishing, that bricks should be always be used. So I hope we are clear about the second point. The height of the brickwork shall not be raised more than 1 meter for a particular day, and the brick walls of an entire building, the brickwork can be done simultaneously for the other walls. Also, no work should be left over more than 1 meter below the rest of the work. All the joints should be racked and the wall surfaces are always being cleaned at the end of the day of work. So that is about laying of the brick. Moving forward, the next is curing. The brickwork shall be cured for at least up to the duration of the 10 days, and in this curing session, the brick walls are flooded with the water at the several intervals of the day. The second portion is scaffolding. All the necessary scaffolding to complete the brickwork at certain height is to be arranged by the contractor, and those scaffoldings should withstand the load coming on it, because when you are putting the scaffolding for the brickwork, there will be a labor sitting over there or standing over there. There should be his helper standing over there. There should be a tagara with the mortar placed over that scaffolding. So your scaffolding should be strong enough. In general site language, this is called as khapeda. We have heard the terminology khapeda. Khapeda stands for the kind of certain platform where the labor can sit or labor can stand over it and work on it. So moving forward, the last specification is measurement and rate. The brickwork shall be measured in cubic meter. Different thickness of brickworks with different ratios of mortar shall be measured separately. Also, in construction, the brickwork shall be measured in the multiple of half bricks, such as 10 centimeter, then 1 brick, that means 20 centimeter, 1.5 brick, that is 30 centimeter, so and so on. So that should be measured in the multiple of half bricks. And the rates for this brickwork shall be inclusive of all the necessary scaffolding or temporary tools and plants which are required to complete the work. So that was about the specifications of the brickwork in cement mortar ratio 1:6. Now let us look at the specification for plastering work. So again, for the plastering work, the first component is materials. So here for the plastering work, only mortar is being used. So materials are cement, sand and water. We have already discussed this cement, sand and water twice, just in the previous session for RCC and just now for the brickwork. So material specifications will be the same. I am not going to repeat it again. I hope we are clear with the material specification. So I am quickly moving forward. The next is mixing of mortar or the preparation of the mortar. So as we do in the mortar of the brickwork, we do same in the mortar of the plastering work, that first the mortar, the ingredients for the preparation of the mortar are being mixed in the dry state until we get a uniform color. Once we get a uniform color, the required quantity of water is then gradually added to that dry mix until we get a workable and plastic mix. Again, the mortar which we use for the plastering work shall be used within the 30 minutes of the preparation because of the initial setting time of the cement. So that was the preparation of the mortar. Now moving forward, the next and very important, preparation of the surface. The surface of the wall should be clean, brushed and washed before the plastering work starts. Yes, whenever you are doing the plastering work on the wall, that wall should be clean and washed with the water, or gently a layer of water should be applied over that wall. In case of cement plaster happening over cement concrete surfaces, that surfaces should be slightly roughed and wetted or washed with the water. Students, you might have seen when there is an RCC column and the plaster is going to happen on that column, or there is an RCC slab or plaster is happening over that slab, there are small spots prepared by a labor by use of a kind of hammer thing that is known as tancha. In site language, it is known as tancha. Tancha work is generally being applied over the RCC layers, because what happens that you do the plaster after many days of the RCC work. So it may happen the RCC surface is slightly uneven or slightly plus or minus in the component. So to have the smooth finish, we do the tancha work. Now, to inform the uniform thickness of the plaster, 15 cross 15 centimeter square patches are being prepared at the 1 meter distances on the wall to have the proper thickness of the plaster work throughout the wall. Students, generally what happens that while doing the brickworks, your brick wall should are being slightly slanted due to some errors done by the masons or the laborers. So to cover up that, we need to cover it in the plaster work. So sometimes what happens, if the wall is tilted slightly here, to surface it here, the plastering work will be more, the plastering work will be less. So what the plaster laborers do, they do a patches. That patches are known as thaya on the site language. So they prepare a thaya on the wall at several distances and they measure the proper level or the uniform thickness of the plaster. So that is how you prepare the surface of the wall to do the plaster. I hope we are clear up to this point. Moving forward, so this is the image of the thaya work you have seen in many construction sites. That is the image of thaya. Now, moving forward, the next is laying of that mortar. First, the mortar shall be dashed and pressed over the surface and then brought into the smooth and uniform finish by use of trowel. So, students, you have seen this kind of exercise that in the by the small tool or equipment, the plaster labor is going to put the plaster on the wall. He is going to press it and then he is going to slightly, transferring and trying to spread that mortar over the surface. And after that, once it is being sprayed, external plaster should be done from top to bottom, and the internal plaster should be started whatever part of your building is being ready. The ceiling plaster should be completed before the wall plaster starts. So I hope we are clear about the laying concept of the plaster. Moving forward, the next is curing. Again, the curing period for the plaster is 10 days, but here you have to take care that while watering or while curing this plaster, no plaster work should be damaged in this process, and any defective plaster should be cut out in a rectangular and should be re-plastered again with the use of mortar or cement. And the last specification is measurement. The plastering should be in square meter and it should be stating with the proportion of the mortar and the thickness of the plaster. Plastering of all the walls, rooms, ceiling, that should be measured separately. The dimensions of the plastering work shall be taken before the plastering happens. So after completion of the brickwork, you must measure the dimension where you are going to plaster. So that is a must thing. External plaster to a height greater than 10 meter should be done in the stages of every 3 meter, and the plastering bands 30 centimeter or below should be measured in running meter. So I hope we are clear about the specifications of the plastering work. So this is it. That was all about in today's session. I hope we have learned it very well. In case of any doubt or query, you can always contact me on my mail or my number. Thank you.